The Jake Asman Show will begin shortly. Thanks to all these great Patreon members who help support the show. Get your super chats ready. Jake will be here in just a moment. If you love the New York Jets, this is the place to be. And now, the Jake Asman Show.
Joint practices against the Bucs get started today. We're 2 weeks into camp. What really matters in regards to the New York Jets? We'll talk about that and much more. Jared Smith from Fox Sports Radio is going to be joining us. He's a huge Jets fan. It's the Jake Asman Show. Let's hit it and get it started.
We sitting in here, we excited as hell.
Now it's time to get to work. Are you a happy guy?
Oh my goodness, let's go!
I haven't felt joy talking about the Jets in a long time. When they announced it, I went, yeah! Jets, let's go! A new chapter for the Jets has started. Aaron Glenn and Darren Muji are tasked with shaping the future of this franchise. Will they be the ones to finally get it right? We will be here for every step of the journey on the Jake Asman Show, breaking down all the storylines, every game, and everything in between. Please subscribe and hit the like button below. Super chats, baby. Cut the line. The Jake Asman Show starts right now.
Here we go, Jet fans. Welcome in, everybody. It is indeed the Jake Asman Show, presented by PrizePicks. Big announcement at the start of the show. We're down to just 15 tickets left for anyone who wants to join us at the annual Asmaniac meetup game at MetLife Stadium. This year, it's October 25th. Dolphins at the Jets, tailgate in Lot L5 before the game. If you purchase a ticket through me, it's $150. You can reserve up to 4 total tickets for your group. It includes a post-game field pass, and the seat is in section 146, which is in the lower level in the corner of the end zone. It's a great seat, similar to where we've been the last couple of years we've done this. So the annual Asmaniac meetup, it's first come, first served for those of you who signed up for my Patreon or are existing Patreon users. I think by the end of today, we might be out. So if you want to go and get a guaranteed field pass and sit with the Asmaniacs in section 146, make sure you go to patreon.com/Jake Asman Show. Right now, we say hello to a first-time guest, but he is a huge Jet fan, someone whose career I've been following for a long time. He's out in Vegas, where he's always breaking down sports gambling and always breaking down everything going on in the betting universe. He is Jared Smith, who joins us now. Check Jared out on Fox Sports Radio and his podcast, The Morning After. And Jared, you're going to be at Circa all throughout the year, keeping us up to date on the Circa contest. We're going to be entering the Circa Survivor in a few short weeks. $30 million in guaranteed prizes, man. So great to get you on the show. Thanks for coming on.
I appreciate it. First time, long time. We've been doing shows together, I feel like, for like a decade now. Been a minute. So you do a fantastic job covering the Jets. Obviously, I'm a big Jets fan. I don't think I have any swag behind me. I think I put it all away. All my Jets swag, because I'm just a little bit, it's been a rough few years. I don't know if you're going to be picking the Jets too much in Survivor this year, Jake. I feel like there'd be a team you might stay away from.
Well, you know what's funny, Jared? So last year, I picked against the Jets the first 7 weeks of the year, and I was the last host standing in our ESPN New York Survivor pool. And the whole bit was, it was supposed to be a reverse jinx. Like, I wanted to be eliminated week 1. I was eliminated week 1 2 years ago when the Bengals lost to the Patriots, if you remember. So I'm like, let's have it happen again. I'm going to pick, the Steelers week 1. And then I just kept going and going. I ended up being the last host standing because the Jets started 0-7.
Wow. It's such a fun, and the Survivor pools are so much fun because it's just pick a winner. And you'd be surprised. It sounds easy to those people at home that have not participated in a Survivor pool or any of the contests that take place here in Vegas every year surrounding the football season. It sounds super easy. Oh, just pick a winner every week. Yeah, you can't use that team twice. And there's certain weeks where you have to pick 2 teams. So it sounds easy. It's not. It's very fun. It's very exciting. I would say it's one of the more intriguing and different types of ways to gamble on football out here in Vegas. There's a lot of different ways to gamble. The Survivor contests and just the contests in general, I think, are just a really fun, not wholesome way. There is gambling involved. There's risk involved. But it's easier than having to track the markets and having to bet on a side or a total, and the spread moves and the number. So it's, to me, the barrier for entry is lower. I recommend, if you're coming out to Vegas before football season, absolutely get involved with the contest.
No doubt. Circusports.com for all the info. We'll be out there at the end of the month, and we'll certainly talk more about it when we get closer. So, Jared, let's talk about the current New York Jets. You grew up a Jet fan. You mentioned it. You don't have the Jet gear handy. It's been rough. What's your feeling with this team right now? A couple weeks into camp, we're hearing positive reports on Geno Smith. We're hearing really positive reports on David Bailey, the number 2 pick. So, from your lens, from your vantage point, give us your feeling on the state of affairs with this team right now.
I think we're still in that point, Jake, where positivity is kind of contagious, right? They're only facing each other. We'll get some joint practices soon where you maybe see a little bit more tension rise. But unless they have these weird skirmishes where they just, have to blow off some steam and fight each other, for the most part, everything's hunky-dory right now. We're in that part of training camp where you would expect there to be a lot of positive things coming. But I think at some point, especially when the preseason games start and you actually get to see the live bullets fly, I think we'll get a better sense. Obviously, you have to be bullish based off of what they did in the draft and based off of some of the moves that they made. I actually really like a lot of the defensive additions. I think they added 8 players in the offseason, which played over 50% of their team snaps last year, which is a record. That's in terms of like teams in the offseason in the NFL this year. It's the most of any team that added that kind of depth and that veteran experience. So I think that's positive. I think you obviously have to be cautiously optimistic about Geno Smith. You don't love what you saw last year with the Raiders, but the pressure and the offensive line was terrible, arguably the worst in the NFL. I think the Jets' offensive line is the strength of the team. So you would expect Geno to be a little bit more protected. And when he's not facing pressure, he's been pretty accurate. So very excited about what they did in the draft. I love the draft picks. I love the fact that they went Texas Tech, Oregon, Indiana. Those are winning programs that were in the playoff last year. I like adding those culture elements to the team. And in terms of urgency, Jake, like if you talk about the teams that are at the bottom of the win total spectrum, right? Like Miami and Cleveland and Vegas, teams that are not expected to have good years. The Jets are kind of on that tier. But of those teams, the Jets have a second-year head coach with a veteran quarterback. So there's some urgency there. Whereas the Browns have a first-year head coach, right? The Raiders have a first-year head coach. The Cardinals have a first-year head coach. Dolphins, first-year head coach. First-year starting quarterback. So I think there's a little more leeway, a little more leash with those teams where they could have a bad year and they're going to bring that regime back. That was last year for the Jets. So I don't think Aaron Glenn can go 3-14 this year and have a chance to pick at the top of the draft next year where you would expect there to be, a quarterback available, an Arch Manning, a Dante Moore, someone. So I'm excited. I'm optimistic, but it's the Jets. So I'm not going all in and pushing any chips to the middle just yet.
Yeah, I think that's really well said. I mean, there's definitely some positives. And, you mentioned some of the teams the Jets are lumped in with. Look, the expectations outside of the Jets themselves and even most, I'd say, in the fan base, it's very low. The positive is you play a lot of these teams, right? You're playing the Titans week 1. They're in your weight class. I've called it a must-win game given the schedule after that. You play the Browns in week 5. You have a stretch after Cleveland where it's at New England, but then you come home and you're playing the Miami Dolphins, who everyone believes are tanking and they might be the worst team in football. Then you're playing the Raiders, who at that point could be starting a rookie quarterback or it's an old Kirk Cousins, right? So there's winnable games, especially early. I want to see how this team comes out the first 2 months of the year, especially week 1, because you lose week 1, it could spiral like what happened last year. They certainly can't start 0-7 again if you're Aaron Glenn trying to save your job. And I think to your point, they've made enough moves where the talent level should be good enough to properly evaluate this head coach, properly evaluate the talent on this roster. So we know going into 2027 with 3 first-round picks and $100 million in cap space, what specifically do we need? And the biggest thing they might need, besides the obvious in quarterback, head coach. So Aaron Glenn's got to prove very early on he's the right guy for this job.
Totally agree. And he's a defensive guy. He was a defensive back. I grew up watching him. He coaches very similarly to his style of play, aggressive, man-to-man. Well, the Jets didn't have an interception last year. That is a historically bad statistic. And for a team that is going to hang their hat on defense and toughness and culture, I think that's the first place to start. They were historically bad in the takeaway department. Now, to be fair, some of that stuff is fluky. If a ball, not as much interceptions, but definitely fumbles, ball gets jarred loose, it hits the ground, it bounces in one direction, you don't know where it's going to go. I'm not going to blame Aaron Glenn that the ball didn't bounce in their favor. So you would expect there to be some positive regression in the turnover department. And if they get that, then usually that means more possessions, more points, and more points obviously equal more wins. So I think there's some baked in positivity where it really doesn't matter if the team performs better. You just expect the ball to bounce a little bit more in the Jets' way. Although after watching this team, like I'm 40 years old, I've been watching them, religiously for like 35 of those 40 years. The ball doesn't bounce their way often. Ask Keith Byers, in Denver back in 1998. So I think there's obviously still that glass ceiling. But there are some baked in positives where I expect there to be more turnovers this year. I expect there to have a little bit more calmness and composure on offense because they have a veteran quarterback. And I'm not going to say Frank Reich is this all-star coordinator because he hasn't been in the NFL in 3 years, but he at least has some NFL experience. I think there is, again, some reasons for positivity as we head into the season.
Hit the like button if you're just joining us. Jared Smith, Fox Sports Radio, is our guest. We have an awesome giveaway across our shows today. One of my favorite Jets, and this was requested by several people in the Asmaniac Discord. I said, hey, which signed Jet items would you guys like? Which players? And Leon Washington's name came up, and I said, that's a great idea. So today's prize across our shows is a signed helmet by the great Leon Washington, former Jet running back, special teams legend. Gift memberships or send in super chats to qualify Sunday's weekly raffle. You're entered in that when you enter for the Leon helmet across our shows today. Our top prize is a signed Nick Mangold helmet. Prize 2 is a signed Curtis Martin helmet.
Wow.
And prize 3 is a signed Garrett Wilson helmet. We got to step up the prizes, Jared. We got football season. It's back. Jets playing a preseason game Friday night at MetLife.
Yeah.
We've almost made it, man.
Curtis Martin, Leon Washington, like those are guys that, again, I'm 40 years old. I grew up in the 90s. So, the 98 team, that was like my first real, wow, this is possible that they can actually have success. I was at the divisional round game against the Jaguars in 98. I was 12 years old. I remember it was 10 degrees. So my backstory with the Jets, my father's actually, he was a Giants fan. It's my mom's side of the family that is the Jets side of the family. And I was taken to a lot of Jets games growing up. Obviously, they were not good in the early parts of the 90s. And then things turned. They hire Parcells, things turned. And I remember being at the old Meadowlands for that 98 divisional playoff game. And then I remember a few years later in 2001 when they destroyed the Colts also in the divisional playoffs. I think the final score in that game was 41-0.
So you got the year slightly off. That was the 02 season where they won the division.
Thank you.
And so January 03 was that playoff game. And so you were at the last two home Jet playoff games. Think about that. It's over 20 years ago now. The last time the Jets played a home playoff game.
Unbelievable. Well, it's dating us, first of all, but second of all, it shows I think if you've been a Jets fan for more than a decade, like if it's been like if you have been around for, I think, those really lean years in the 90s, then I think you deserve like a medal. Like if you're still rooting for the team, like you deserve like 10 Leon Washington signed helmets.
It's crazy, man. I mean, like even like my era of Jets football was more like when Chad Pennington became the starter. I started watching like 04, and then obviously they go to the playoffs that year, and they go to the playoffs in 06, and you have the Rex years. But if you're a younger Jet fan, right? A lot of kids now, they've grown up. They don't know what it's like when the Jets have ever been good. The best they have is maybe the Fitzpatrick 10-6 year before Week 17 in Buffalo happened. Like
that's right.
It's unreal. And just the last 10 years in general, it's almost impossible to miss the playoffs 15 straight years in the NFL. But I think this stat is even worse. They haven't won more than 7 games in a decade since 2015. They haven't had an accidental, 8-9 season during this stretch. The best they did by winning percentage was 7-9 with Adam Gase in 2019. That's how pathetic this franchise has been.
Adam Gase. I think so. The win total this year is 5.5. Like I would bet the over on this team. I would. I think if you believe that there's even going to be marginal improvement with the turnovers and with some of the, basic stuff that was just bottom barrel last year, I think it's fair to say that this team can win 6 games. I do. I think there's enough personnel, there's enough talent, and I think there's enough in the coaching box, hopefully, with Frank Reich to be able to get the most out of Geno. And if they can figure out a way to get Geno back to the 2024 form, where he at least was competent And obviously Seattle kind of shipped him out. But at least he was competent, and I think he was stable enough to where he could give you, a few drives a game, a few throws per game that can still kind of roll back the clock. And then you've got the nostalgia element of him returning to a place in a much more mature state of mind. I remember, I was working for Fios News. I was working for New York One when he was first with the Jets. And I remember when he, had the incident with IKN and Polly. I remember covering the team that day, and he was just a different guy. Like, he's matured a lot in the last decade. And he's, you saw the same thing happen to Darnold. You've seen the same thing happen to Baker Mayfield. Like, you just go through these experiences as a quarterback, and the mental side of it matters so much that I do expect there to be a much different vibe with him in his second go around with the Jets. And I think if you can, again, get some level of stability with the offensive line and give him a clean pocket to throw from, he has proven that he can make throws out of clean pockets. So I think that is the biggest reason for optimism, is they actually do have some adults in the offensive room this year, where last year they couldn't overcome the fact that they couldn't get a turnover and couldn't get a stop in the red zone. And I think this year, obviously we want them to get turnovers and get stops in the red zone, but I think they at least have some level of competence on offense to where they can overcome a little bit of that.
I think that's well said. We're talking with Jared Smith, Fox Sports Radio. Also check out Jared's podcast, The Morning After. This year, they'll be live from Circa every Tuesday. So if you're one of the many Asmaniacs who are going to be entering Circa's contest, any of the three you see on the screen, make sure you subscribe to Jared's pod to keep you updated on everything going on with each of these pro football betting contests. Jets are on the field right now for a joint practice that's about to get truly underway against the Bucs. Some positive Jet news I want to share. Two things of note. One, David Bailey looks like he's going to be out there practicing. He had his helmet, and he's going to be good to go after rolling his ankle during the Jets scrimmage on Saturday. Glenn said it was day-to-day. I guess enough days have passed, and David Bailey is good to go out there against the Bucs this morning. Plus, Joseph Asai, who was one of the names the Jets added to their defensive line in addition to David Bailey, according to Brian Costello of the New York Post, he will be taken off the PUP list today. He won't practice this week, but he can begin working his way back and could practice next week. So some positive injury updates there on Joseph Asai and, of course, David Bailey. Give me your thoughts, Jared, on the expectations for Bailey. He's the number 2 pick in the draft. He was thought to be the best and the most ready pass rusher coming out of college. The Jets could have picked any player in this draft not named Fernando Mendoza. They go with Bailey. Give me your thoughts on your expectations for him in year one with this team.
I mean, I think, again, you have a defensive-minded coach. You have a team that has opportunities for pass rushing reps. The sky's the limit. I love what the Jets have done in the draft over the last 2 years. I really do. I think Muji's done a really nice job in buttoning up the blue-chip tackle spots. You get Membel last year. I know he didn't directly draft Fasciano 2 years ago, but I think those are, two guys that, all of a sudden give you some stability on the edge. And then in the first round this year, I mean, it was a clinic. It really was. You got 3 guys that I think have a ton of experience, and they're all, high octane athletes. The RAS scores are all over 9. That's something we've seen Muji be very consistent with. He likes drafting athletes. They drafted a couple guys later on, even the safety, BJ Payne, another guy that's a freak athlete. I like the Pons pick out of Indiana. So I think Muji, you trust this scouting department. I think they've done a really good job focusing on athletes and premium positions over the last 2 years, where they've sprinkled in some non-premiums as well. I mean, they drafted 2 tight ends in the last 2 years, and both of them I think are going to contribute. And we've seen now, especially, Sean McVay has taken this 13 personnel, heavy tight end personnel, and he's really made it a thing. The reason being, a lot more defenses are playing cover 2. They're breaking those safeties back off the line of scrimmage. That's been the trend over the last, I would say, 4 to 5 years in the NFL. So now the pendulum swings back to the other side. You're seeing the heavier sets. You're seeing play action out of the heavier sets, getting explosives out of 2 tight ends and 3 tight end sets. That, to me, is the soup du jour for offenses in this league. Now, how will Frank Reich handle that? I think that'll be the question. But Bailey specifically looks like a stud, checks every box, and coming out of the draft, he definitely was the most polished pass rusher.
There's no doubt about that. So Jets having joint practices. We'll keep you posted on that. I did just see this that the Jets posted. Here's Aaron Glenn and Todd Bowles saying hello to one another. Bowles back over at One Jets Drive, where, of course, he was the Jets head coach from 2015 through 2018.
Blast from the past there, huh?
Yeah, man. Yeah, they did this a couple of years ago when Bowles was the coach, and at the time, Saleh was still the Jet coach. Aaron Rodgers was the Jet quarterback at that point. So Bowles, I mean, give him credit. He's still been able to uh, keep a job a lot longer than I think most of us Jet fans thought when he first got that Bucs job. Certainly helps when you have Tom
Absolutely.
Brady for your first year, and then you get Baker Mayfield, and he's been great. But I mean, to Bowles' credit, he's hired some really good offensive coordinators. They keep getting poached. It's not easy to replace your OC every year.
Yeah, it was funny because I was doing some research on the Bucks, ironically, not even realizing that they were going to be in the joint practice this week, and we were going to talk about him here on the show. But the thing about Baker, which is really interesting, if you're interested, Jets fans watching, you're interested in, what you might see from the Bucks and Baker this week. Baker's had 9 OCs in 9 years in the NFL.
It's crazy.
Isn't that wild? Now, Zach Robinson, right, new OC for the Bucks, he's a McVay guy. Like, he comes from the McVay tree, and he was on the staff with the Rams in 22 when Baker made that. He basically had like a cup of coffee with the Rams. I think he was traded midseason. It was a weird situation that brought him to the Rams, but I would say that was what kind of revitalized his career when he was able to go study under Sean McVay and kind of get a little bit of tutelage, and then he went to Tampa, and he's been great. So Robinson at least brings that level of continuity. It's a similar system that Baker ran when he was with the Rams. It's, I think, going to be a really good system for them. The Bucks were ravaged with injuries last year. I mean, Evans, Godwin, McMillan, the entire receiving group, the entire offensive line. They were one of the most banged up teams in the league. So Tampa's another one of those teams that, you got Baker, and I think you've got a level of stability with that offense. The ceiling might not be very high, but I think the floor is a lot higher with Baker. And, if Robinson and that offense clicks early and you think Baker's going to be familiar with it, I wouldn't be shocked if Tampa, they didn't win the division last year. And so Bulls, I would say if they don't win a bad division 2 years in a row, that would be a reason for maybe getting him on the hot seat. So it's a big year for the Bucks, I would say.
Yeah, no doubt. All the drama with Baker's contract, type of year he has influences, his future there for sure. So it'll be fascinating to see how it all plays out. Jets doing some 7-on-7s right now. Again, we'll keep you posted if anything notable happens, and a full breakdown with Robbie Sabo this afternoon at 4:30. Sabo at the joint practice. He'll come on the show for some takeaways. But Jared, one of the reasons why I wanted to have you on, you did a great film breakdown of Frank Reich's offense at Stanford last year. It's available on Jared's Patreon for those who want to see it. In your studies, looking at the offense, and you went through a bunch of different plays, give me your thoughts on Frank Reich and whether or not he could be a good fit with the personnel the Jets have and obviously the quarterback they have in Geno Smith.
Yeah, so what I typically do, to give you some backstory on the film study, is when there's new coaches, new coordinators, new play callers in any specific team, I like to go back and look at what they've done in prior years to see if I can find anything that's useful or informative. With Frank Reich, it was tough because he hasn't been in the NFL in 3 years. So I went back and I looked at the Stanford film from last year. He was the head coach, offensive coordinator, play caller for Stanford. They were going through a mess last year, going through a bunch of coaching changes. But obviously, the success wasn't there for Stanford. But I did see some things on film I liked. So the cheat code for NFL quarterbacks today, really for any quarterback at any level, is to disguise what you're doing. And the way that you do that is through play action and through motion. With motion, you can detect if a defense is playing man or zone, right? If you send a receiver in motion from one side of the formation to the other, and you get a defensive back that runs directly with that receiver as he goes from the right to the left or the left to the right, then you know it's man coverage, right? Zone coverage, you would just see the defense shift and not an actual man run with that player. So teams love to use motion, especially NFL teams. You're going to see the best offenses in the league. Typically, most years have the highest degree and rate of motion. Play action is another cheat code because you are manipulating the linebackers. You're manipulating the eyes of the linebackers, and you're creating space at the second level. Well, the Jets last year had one of the lowest play action rates in the NFL. So I would like to see a lot more play action under center with motion. Under center, when you're in shotgun, in my opinion, and what we've seen from teams, is the play action doesn't have as much impact when you're in the shotgun compared to when you're under center. Well, Geno has been pretty good at that category over the years when he's been protected. So I did see some things on film from Stanford last year where they were running play action under center using motion, and they were having some success with those plays. Now, obviously, the talent level at Stanford compared to the Jets in the NFL is drastically different. I would expect there to be a little bit more explosion, a little bit more burst with some of the play action that they're using this season. Obviously, you're going to expect the tight ends to be heavily involved with Sadiq and Taylor, but there were definitely some positives on film. I really like the 2 tight end sets that Stanford was using. And again, a lot of that play action and a lot of that under center motion stuff was coming from 2 tight end sets. So I think that's going to be something you're going to see a lot of this year with the Jets offense. I think you're going to see a lot of multiple tight end sets. I think you're going to see Geno under center, using play action, leaning on the running game. We know how great Breece Hall is. He just got paid in the offseason. So I think there is going to be at least some level of deception with this Jets offense. Frank Reich, again, haven't seen it in the NFL in a long time, but the pedigree's there. He certainly has the ability to call a good game. I just want to see it at the NFL level. But there were definitely some things on film with Stanford's offense that at least gave me some level of optimism heading into the year.
Well, that's good to hear because you look at the numbers. It obviously wasn't pretty, but so much of college football is talent and recruiting, and it's Stanford with an interim coach. So who's going to commit and want to be there when there's so much uncertainty? My big thing with Frank Reich is I feel like they have an adult in the room at that position. Like, he's seen a lot. I'm just hoping he still has enough left in the tank. A big thing, if you look at his offenses in his most recent stops, he didn't use a ton of motion. So it's good to hear that you saw that a lot more. He did bring a lot of his Stanford assistants with him to the Jet staff. So hopefully Frank Reich, has some basic principles that he's used everywhere he's been, and he's willing to adapt to the modern NFL. I also like, bringing a guy like Seth Ryan, Rex's kid, as the pass game coordinator. He comes over from Detroit where he learned under Ben Johnson. So I just hope the Jets have enough intelligence for the modern game with the veteran savviness of Reich to be able to put together a competent offense. You mentioned the 2 tight end sets. I mean, they say Sadiq will be ready for week 1. We know he's going to be vital in what they try to do to create matchups. Him and Mason Taylor, 2 tight end sets, that should be a staple of this offense.
Absolutely. And I think you'll see I think you're going to see a lot of 13 personnel. I do. The Jets last year were not a team that was very creative on offense. Again, they were almost dead last, 3rd lowest play action rate at just 12%. Now, the motion rate was high, which is nice, but the shotgun rate also was sky high, 8th highest shotgun rate. And that's just bland. Like, if you're in shotgun, you're making the linebacker's job a lot easier because any play action is right. You're already in the backfield. And so the linebackers don't have to actually go in one direction or the other, where if you're play actioning under center, you're going to one side or the other, and then you're booting off of it. So it's just, I don't like play action through shotgun. I don't think it's effective. And with such a high shotgun rate last year, the Jets were just very predictable on offense. And that's what you have to change because they don't have the talent at quarterback to make explosive plays through scramble drill. They don't have Mahomes or Josh Allen who's going to break a tackle and get out of the pocket and make a crazy throw. That's just not what Geno Smith is at this stage of his career, which means you have to be on schedule and the plan has to be very strong. You have to be deceptive with your offensive scheme because if you're not deceiving the defense, Geno's a statue back there in the pocket. The launch point for the defensive ends trying to get to the quarterback is pretty static. You're not moving around a whole lot. So I think that's where that level of deception, that level of play action, the level of motion has to be incredibly high. They have to be a thinking man, cerebral offense this year. And they have talent. Like it's not like they don't have talent at the skill position. But when you have a quarterback who I would say is limited, you have to be exceptionally polished with your play calling and with how you read a defense. And Geno's really good at that. Like I think that's one of the strengths of Geno Smith, his experience, his vision, his eyes, if he has protection. So I think you have to lean on the running game, lean on the offensive line, lean on some of that experience, and be damn good at figuring out ways to deceive the defense. And that's why we're sitting here talking about it. And Frank Reich's getting paid the big bucks to do it because I think it's going to be a challenge. But I do think there are some pieces in place that can at least overcome that.
Oh, we got to hope so. We definitely got to hope so. Jared Smith is our guest here. Comments, questions, super chats. They cut the line. If you're tuned in late, great giveaway on our show today. It is a signed helmet by one of my favorite Jets, Leon Washington, former coach with the Jets too, under Saleh for a year. So
yeah,
wherever you are, Leon, we love you. Signed Leon helmet up for grabs. Big shout out to Janice Jett, always supporting the show. Her generosity is being felt by the whole community. How about 10 gifted memberships, 10 raffle entries for Janice? Let's go.
Let's go. Jets, Jets, Jets.
Thank you, Janice.
That's
If you got a
awesome.
channel membership, say thank you. Ozzy Fuller's gifted one, so he's in the raffle for one. Thank you, Ozzy. Chuck Wagon says, love Jared already. Hope to hear from him more often. There you go. You won over the Chuck Wagon, Jared.
I was gonna say, if I'm winning over Jets fans, that means we're doing something right. What's going on, Chuck?
And Jameson says, let's go Jets. Thank you for the super chat. And Rodrigo says, hi, I'm from Argentina. Go Jets. I think the Jets will make the playoffs this year. Well, one, appreciate you tuning in from all the way out in Argentina. As far
What's
as the
time
playoffs,
zone out there?
yeah,
I don't even know. I have no idea.
7 hours ahead from.
I guess
where I am.
technically it's not west; it's down. So I guess it's kind of in the same time zone vicinity.
Oh, that's right. I was thinking of Spain, not Argentina.
Yeah.
What time is it in Argentina?
I would imagine it's
Rodrigo?
kind of the same time as it is here. I think it's probably around, maybe a couple hours off.
Rio was 1 hour ahead because I interned there at the Olympics 10 years ago. So
I'm assuming it's like this kind of Pacific time zone. That would be my guess. It's at the same time as it is here, which is about 7:45.
Interesting. So Rodrigo, appreciate your support. As far as the Jets making the playoffs, I hope I'm wrong. I don't see it. Jared, what's the best case scenario for this Jets? So let's say everything goes well. You could see 8 wins.
8 wins. I think getting to 500 this year, if they're a 500 team this year, I would be surprised. I would be like above 500. I think 7 to 8 wins feels like the ceiling. I mean, it's rare. Like the Patriots last year, I think the win total was like 7, 8.5. Maybe it was not. Maybe it got bumped up to 9 late because there was some over money. They won 14 games. Like it's very rare that a team exceeds the market expectation by almost double. Like it just doesn't happen. So their win total is 5.5. So realistically speaking, you have to win at least 9 games to make the playoffs in the AFC. Like at least, probably 10. I just don't see them winning 10. I don't see them doubling their win total. I think 7 is a really good year, considering what they won. They go 3 or 4. I think it was 4 last year, right?
3
4 wins last year. 3.
Here's the thing with 7 though. It's how it looks. Like they started 1-7 with Gase in 2019, and then beat some bad teams with backup quarterbacks, and they went 7-9. How they start the year matters to me. Like there's an eye test to all this. Like if they win 7 games, there's a scenario where Glenn did a good job over that 7 and he might be back. There's also a scenario where they have 6 wins playing the Bills in week 18 who are resting their starters. They win that game, hurt their draft positioning, and finish 7-10. I don't think anyone's like, yep, we got to bring Aaron Glenn back at that point. So I really think the eye test matters just as much as the obvious. They got to win way more games than just 3 that they did in year 1 with Glenn.
That's a fantastic point. I think when you look at NFL teams, the recency bias matters a ton. It matters a ton, and how they look and how it feels. But I'll be honest, I thought last year, based on how it looked and how it felt, that Glenn wasn't going to survive the season. But he did. So there's obviously some level of optimism that he's the guy, or else they would have bailed on him after 1 year, because it was rough.
Or what, he didn't want to pay another coach after giving Glenn 5 years at $12 million per.
Yeah. So I thought the offensive, I thought they were going to run it completely back and bring Engstrom back and just completely run it back next year. The fact that they changed the offensive coordinator and really went in a completely different direction with the offense tells me that there was at least some chatter in the back room that this is not the right path for us and we need to make some drastic changes. So I'm sure there was a discussion last year for Glenn not to survive the season based on the higher ups, but I give them at least some level of credit for being patient, because I think patience in today's NFL it doesn't exist. I mean, guys will get fired after 8 weeks if it's not going well. Like the NFL stands for not for long. So I think you're right. There needs to be some drastic level of improvement. And that's why I think the over makes sense to me, even though I can't believe they only won 3 games last year. They have to double their win total this year just to go over 5.5 wins. But the reason that I think you have to be at least somewhat optimistic is Glenn is absolutely coaching for his life. They cannot go 3-14, 4-13 again. He will lose his job. So that's why you would imagine there's going to be at least some level of urgency especially early in the year. That game against Tennessee is huge.
Yep.
I think if they win that game against the Titans, I think they're going over their win total. I think it's that simple. I think if you can win a game early, set the tone against the former coach. I know Sal has kind of downplayed it, but if you don't think he wants to kick the crap out of the Jets and there's a little extra sauce on that game, you're crazy, because it didn't end well for Saleh with the Jets. So I think there's going to be a really strong vibe in that game. I don't love that it's on the road, but I think they can win. That's a winnable game early. I think there's a couple of other opportunities early for them. Like, there's a chance they can start 3-3. I honestly do think so. I think there's a chance they can beat, obviously, Cleveland, but I think Chicago and New England, I don't think either of those teams are, gangbusters this year. Especially New England, you would expect there to be some regression. Chicago, even Ben Johnson said he expects regression with all the close games and the turnovers they had last year. So I think there's a chance that even Green Bay is a little bit overrated, and that game against the Packers is tight. I think 3-3, the first 6 games, is not outside the realm of possibility. And if they start 3-3, based off of 2 games against the Dolphins, another game against the Raiders, another game against the Cardinals, there are 6 wins on this schedule. It's just a matter of, can they get that first one, and can they get some confidence early, and can they get off to a fast start? Because momentum and recency bias is everything in the NFL.
I believe there's a path to even going 4-4, because I look at it like this. Win week 1. Can you win 1 of your next 3? Not saying you got to win all of them. You probably won't, but you certainly can't put yourself in a hole where you start 1-3. But can you win 1 of your next 3? Teams are not at their best early in the year. There's upsets every week, as you know, living out in Vegas and covering this stuff. It's never the Jets. That has to change. Even Saleh started 6-3 in his second year. They had upset wins that year against the Packers on the road, Denver on the road. They came back down 10 in the 4th against Pittsburgh, right? They have to find a way to win 1 of their next 3. You do that, you're playing the Browns with a chance to be 3-2 after week 5. Okay, you lose to New England, you're 3-3 like you had, Jared. Can you beat the Dolphins and Raiders? I mean,
yeah.
Can you get to 4-4 before you have this gauntlet of Mahomes, Allen, and Herbert? Like, at least we're having a season. The date of the Raider game is November 1st. What Jet fan wouldn't sign for 4-4 going into the month of November? At least we had a season. Like, it's not over after September like it was this past year for Jet fans. That's what I want to see. That's what Glenn needs to do to save his job. They got to be competitive early. They should not be off to an abysmal start where you're at a point where you're actually upset when they're winning games from November on, because you feel like it's going to hurt you in the draft and miss out on a potential franchise QB.
Yeah, there's no tanking. First of all, tanking in the NFL is a very misguided word. It never happens on the field. It only happens behind closed doors in the, higher up, meeting rooms, when they're trying to figure out who's getting the playing time and who's getting the reps. That is where tanking is done. Once the games start, there's no such thing. And Aaron Glenn, as I said, he is fight every week is going to be a fight for his job, because you get one mulligan in the NFL if you're lucky. They got it last year. There is no more Mr. Nice Guy when it comes to keeping your job in this league if you get one bad year. They need to increase their win total significantly in 2026, or all the work that they've done over the last 2 years, and Muji might be part of it, is going to go to the wayside. 2027 is the year for the Jets to finally get the next quarterback. I've been doing a lot of film study about this quarterback class. Trinidad Chambliss, Arch Manning, Dante Moore, CJ Carr, all these guys, they are all in the mix to be the number 1 pick in the draft. And the Jets have 3 first-round picks in a historic quarterback class. There is a light at the end of the tunnel. Aaron Glenn can see it, but if they go 4-13, he will not be around to draft that quarterback. So I think that level of urgency has to be a bullish thing for wins in 2026. If they are winning games this year, even if it's just slightly above what their expectation is, 6-7 wins, I think because of how bad they were last year, that year-over-year improvement should be enough to keep Glenn for year 3.
We're going to say Jared Smith is our guest, couple more with him, and then we got quite the surprise for you, Jared. So make sure you are on your toes for this one. But name me your favorite player on the Jets currently. Any player that's currently on the team.
That's a good question. I mean, I would say it's Fashanu, because I'm a Penn State guy. Like
I like that.
Like that is the obvious answer. Like it's rare that I get a Penn State star. I mean, he was at Penn State. I mean, he was like the blue chip tackle for multiple years. We knew he was going to be in the NFL. We knew he was going to be a first round pick. It was just a matter of where. And I know tackle's not a sexy position, but I am convinced that the NFL is one in the trenches. So I think I would go Olu Fashanu. Under the radar, Penn State guy. I get to speak to my alma mater. So there's not a lot of like I would say there's not a lot of fan favorites. Growing up, it was Wayne Corbett. I mean, that was like an easy choice. That was the first jersey I bought was a Wayne Corbett jersey. Like there's not, they don't have any of those kind of culture, heart hustle guys. At least I haven't detected one yet that's like at the top of the hustle chart. But I think offensive line's a great place to start. So we'll go for Fashanu.
All right. So you're going O-line. I should have caveated this because I have something I'm going to do for you here.
Okay.
Give me a current skill position player that is your favorite.
Okay, current skill position guy. That's my favorite. I mean, I guess it's Breece Hall, right? It's got to be
perfect.
Breece.
So I'm glad you said Breece because you're a gambling expert. My show's presented by PrizePicks. I want you to take a look at the numbers that are projected for Breece here and use your expertise. And you tell the audience, would you go more or less? What stands out to you with some of these props here? What do you like the most? What would you try and stay away from a gambling perspective with PrizePicks?
Great question. So I will say this. The majority of skill position season-long props stay under. It's about 60%. With the quarterbacks for passing yards, it's like 70%.
Wow.
Connor Allen works for one of the gambling, player prop kind of fantasy analyst sites, does a really great job of analyzing the season-long props. And he is very keen on always leaning under unless you have a damn good reason to go over. That being said, the Jets, in my opinion, if there is a successful season ahead, Breece Hall is going to be the anchor. I think 975.5 seems fair. I feel like he was kind of in that vicinity last year.
Yeah, he just eclipsed 1,000 last year.
Yeah, like I think that's a fair number. So if it's a fair number, I would say it's basically less of a yard stat and more of a games played stat. Like he played in 16 games last year. He went 1065. If he plays in 16 games this year, he's going over this number. I feel pretty confident about that because of what the Jets are going to be as an offense this season. Now, I have no idea if he's going to play 16 games this year. Absolutely no idea. I am absolutely guessing. But I would lean over. Even though I'm usually under on a lot of these player props for season long, I would lean over. Now, you want to say he just got paid, so that would be a reason to maybe take it easy. I see that argument, but there's also the other side of that to where the Jets are going to want to milk every dime out of him. So I would say that there maybe is, splitting your opinion on the contract being a negative or a positive for his rushing yards. Receiving yards is another interesting one because I think if you were going to ask me of the running backs in the NFL, which are the ones that are the most dangerous receivers, I think Breece Hall doesn't get enough credit in that category. Where there are a lot of guys
properly there. That's the thing. I agree with you.
Yeah, like I think he is an elite receiver. I mean, this is a guy that had almost 500 yards receiving 2 years ago and almost 600 yards back in 23. He had 76 receptions in 2023. Now that was a year, I forget who the quarterback was. That Aaron Rodgers' last, right? That was so he played almost the full season in 20.
No, that was the year he got hurt.
That was the year he got hurt.
Wilson, Simeon, Boyle throwing him.
So there were a lot of short passes that year. Now 2024, last year he still had 57 receptions, 76 targets. So even with Rodgers playing most of the season 2 years ago in 24, like still you had that opportunity for reception. So I mean, this is a guy also that in his rookie year in 2023 he averaged almost 12 yards per reception. So I think if there was an over to be made, I would say it'd be the receiving yards. I think he has the potential to be 1,000-yard back, but that's more games played. Receiving yards, you can play 8 games and have one crazy screen pass that goes for 60 yards, and that's 25% of the total right there. So I think receiving yards would be the sharper move to me in the PrizePicks department.
Breece receiving number 325.5. Jared saying, go more on that. If you want to make a prize pick lineup using some Jet players, download the PrizePicks app. use the code HMA. You can click the link in the description for the live show you're tuned in for right now, and it will take you to the PrizePicks app. Use the code HMA, put $5 in, and you win your first lineup. You get $150 back in lineups. Comments, questions, super chats, cut the line. We're going to get to the Azzy Awards in a bit. We have part 2 of the Rookie of the Year competition. Congratulations to Lou B and the Dream for advancing to the final. Today, we have the Rooster, Mad Max, Doc Jetfan, and Mimosa nominated for the Rookie of the Year Azzy. Top 2 will advance to the final this afternoon. Speaking of the Rooster, let's get to some calls because I learned something quite interesting before the show began. I learned that the Rooster is Jared's cousin, and I had no idea. How about that?
What? Are you a YouTube guy, David?
Okay,
What's going
so
on here?
let me clear this up. So my dad, Jared's grandfather, was my dad's brother. Okay, I've known Jared when Jared was talking about the other side of the family, taking him to football games and teaching about gambling and fantasy. Right here.
It all makes sense now. This makes total sense.
Jared, you correct me if I'm wrong. Was my first mold. My second mold is sleeping in bed, my son. So Jared was my first shot to get a Jet fan, Knicks, sports fanatic, even like Syracuse before he went to Penn State.
It's true.
And and now he's just a well-accomplished, much better sounding, he can control his emotions. And now Jared with Jake. So I discovered Jake, it's almost a year now, the greatest Jet content in the world. And you know me.
Fantastic.
I love the Jets. I love my sports, and getting to go on this community and talk to Jake, who I think Jake is the most knowledgeable Jet fan in the New York area by far.
Thank you, Rooster.
Not even close. We agree on a lot of the same ideas. But when I woke up this morning and I turn on so this is great. Jared is very knowledgeable. I taught him very well. He's he's very good.
You bought me the Corbett jersey. He's the one that bought me the Corbett jersey.
Yes, and we were at that. Was it the Colt one or the Jacksonville one? I
forget which game you bought me the jersey at, but we were at both games. You took me to both
of them. Yeah,
we had great season tickets too. Yeah, fantastic.
Yes, I used to have season tickets.
End zone, love those tickets.
That's right. Until they went
cold for that Jaguars game. Though it was cold.
I think my father-in-law went too, and I threatened my father-in-law. I'm like, "We're going to stay this whole fucking game," and he's like, and then by the fourth quarter, I'm like, and the blowout.
No, well, we stayed. John Hall had to kick a field goal late to cover the number. They were a 7.5 point favorite in that game. Hall kicked the field goal, put him up 10 late. I remember we waited in the tunnel. You were freezing. It was the fourth quarter, it was freezing. Once that field goal went through the uprights, they were ahead of the spread, and we were out the door. That was it.
That's amazing.
So, Jared, my take with Aaron Glenn last year, it was just such a disaster from the get-go because the guy came in talking like this roster is a playoff roster, and that was his first mistake from the get-go. He's because of the false bravado and then the disaster that occurred of just him being so overwhelmed, and even the way he went by his coach, he had such an ego coming in. He chose a coaching staff that was very inexperienced, and and then he turns on the dime. And it was the right move. And I love the move when they traded Sauce, they traded Quinnen, they quit on the season. And that was a tank in the sense where they tanked getting rid of any player that could play football the last 5 games to get the number 2 pick. In Jets fashion, they can't get the quarterback because there's only one quarterback in the draft. We know that history. But this is it for Aaron Glenn. Because like Jake went over the schedule, and I'm not a Super Bowl game 1 guy ever. This is our Super Bowl game 1. Yeah. We have to go into Tennessee and win that football game. It is a game versus a coach we've known. It's a team that we can beat. It's a team that was terrible last year. So Aaron Glenn's got to win a football game. And then when we've gone over 4-4, I've said it all along. Like the NFL is a crazy league. So of your next 3 games, win one of them. I don't know which one. I don't care which one. But beat the Bears, beat Detroit, or beat Green Bay. And then of your next 4, win 2 of them. You have The Patriots, it's a rivalry, who I don't think is as good as last year. Browns, Raiders, Dolphins. Then you're 4-4. If you can't do that, Jared, where are you going, Aaron Glenn? You're going out. That's it. You have to win football games. And we all believe in Jake, if Mike Tomlin was the coach, what's the over-under? Jake, or even Jared, what's the over-under? Mike Tomlin's the coach of this football team.
8.5, 7.5, 8.5, somewhere in that 500 range.
So that's it.
If you put John Harbaugh coaching the Jets right now, people would be like, wow, the Jets, they could be a sneaky wild card team. They got good skill players, good O-line. Defense should be bouncing back.
If they can protect Geno, I think there's a little juice still left to squeeze out of that orange. I don't know how much, but if they can protect him and keep him on the spot, I think there's a chance that you can play to that ceiling for one season.
Last year's offense, Harrison High School, who runs a wishbone, was more exciting than this Jet. It was not.
I've been to a game at Harrison High School.
Yeah, you have been. We'll be good again this year. But it was so incredibly. You couldn't believe what you're watching. So when you couldn't believe it. It wasn't football. They couldn't throw the ball. So you can't take anything, look into the stats and say, well, they couldn't do anything. Now, an Engstrom, I don't blame Engstrom for anything, even though he was the guy. Justin Fields, something was wrong. Maybe it was the concussion, because the first game he looked half normal. He took that crack in game 2. We couldn't move the ball at all. So yes, Geno Smith, we know is what Geno Smith is, but he could throw the football. He could throw a spiral. He could throw touchdowns. He could throw it downfield.
He's thrown a bunch of picks at this joint practice for those who are
I'm sure
caring about that.
How many times
Bowles is tricking him?
I just saw a tweet. Geno picked again, third of practice already. Not a good day for QB1.
He's going to throw a lot of interceptions this year, I think.
You know what I love about the Jets? Geno's going to throw 2 picks, and then all you're going to hear, we want Klubnik right away. I mean, just the Jet pick. And I like the draft pick of Klubnik. I did like it. I know I saw Klubnik a lot for Syracuse. And remember, Klubnik was going to be a top 5 pick. I'm not sure what Klubnik is, but he's good value. But again, be confident this year. This is a 7-8 win team, and then you have 3 first-round picks. I think we all agree, I don't know if it was mentioned, that we're high on the GM Muji, even more so than even with Joe. Darren Muji is showing some competent moves, but again, this is a 2-person league for the most part. It's coach and it's quarterback. And we don't know if we have either yet, which is kind of funny that, me and Jake does it. We talk about the Jets every day. And it's coach and quarterback, and we just can't.
That's it. But what gives me hope is I like Darren Muji, and I think the roster's in a decent spot for the next young quarterback. And I think the job's an attractive one for a top coach. I think you saw Harbaugh want the Giant job because he believed in Dart. I think you see Liam Cohen go to Jacksonville because he believed in Trevor Lawrence. Ben Johnson wanted the Bear job because of Caleb Williams. I know the Jets don't have that guy yet, but if this quarterback class in college is as good as they say, they're equipped to get one of them, and that makes you an attractive job with the roster you currently have. Yeah.
I think this quarterback class is unbelievable. I think it's going to be an awesome year watching college football with some of these quarterbacks this year.
Yeah, listen, I'm with you on paper. We saw the same last year. There is Lenore Sellers and the kid on the week. You know what happens. But yes, there's Arch Manning. I mean, start right there, and then there's Carr and
Dante
then
and Chambliss.
There's going to be. Most years,
one of them's going to hit. I don't know which one. One of them's going to hit.
Most years, you get 2 to 3 quarterbacks.
We need 3 or more to hit because that helps the Jets.
We need everyone to hit because we don't know which one the Jets are going to take. I think so. I was doing actually some film study on Arch this week. I think this is going to be a big year for him. I love what Texas did. Coleman and Smothers. And Arch, man, you go back and watch some of the film last year. Texas couldn't block a lick, and they were dropping passes left and right. I think if you put some talent around Arch Manning, I mean, he is a baller. I don't know who's going to be the number 1 pick. I have no idea how it's going to play out. But there are at least 3 quarterbacks in this year's class, Moore and Arch and Carr, that all look like they are NFL ready. Carr's probably going to get one.
I'm going to give you one more. Steve Angeli.
now you're going.
He knows I'm a crazy Syracuse. I tried. I almost had him at Syracuse. But he went to Penn State. Whatever. You go to Penn State, no problem.
I was a Syracuse fan when they won the title. When Melo won the title in 2000, and what was it, 1 or 2? And then once I went to Penn State in 04, that was it. I was done. I was a Penn State guy.
That's fair. I was a Florida Gator fan, like my father was, until I went to Syracuse, and now I hated Florida. I didn't get into Florida. I said to my old man, couldn't you get me into Florida? He goes, I donated the toilet to the frat house. I said, that does me no good. I said, I got to get into school before I could get into the fraternity before the toilet means anything. I said, that does me nothing. But listen, Jared, you're the man. Jake, let me tell you, Jared, I hope to see you more on the show. Jake's the best. My cousin Jared, he knows what he's talking about. He knows his sports. He comes from a good line of sports teaching. And I'm going to give you one other thing, Jake. I do like what you said, though, Jake, about Seth Ryans. I think that is a bigger deal than sitting next to Ben Johnson. Unless he was brain dead, you have to absorb. You have to.
And they said that Seth Ryan apparently had a lot to do with some of the trick plays that they designed in Detroit. So I like hearing that. The Jets need to be creative and scratch out every advantage they could get.
If Reich, if Frank Reich has a little bit of as he, and I think he will listen and take a little and blend his experience. Let's go, Jared. Let's go.
Over 5.5 wins. I think the Jets are firmly a buy low team. I think the talent on the roster is not as bad as 5.5 as a number of 5.5.
It isn't.
And if they can play to that ceiling, as you mentioned with Reich and with what we're seeing with Geno, I think 5.5 feels. I think they're going to win 6 or more games this year. I do. I'm usually very cautious and very pessimistic with the Jets. David knows I've been texting.
Yeah, you do remember our last big argument. I didn't speak to you for a year when you were mad when the Knicks traded that stupid draft pick to free up the money for Brunson. And
wow,
you poo-pooed Brunson. I did. I pooed Brunson.
At the time, you crazy?
I was like, he's a 1B. He's not a 1A. I hate those words. I hate those words. I said he's a 1A. He's a star. I was wrong. He's a star.
Jared, stay well. Hope we'll speak soon.
Rooster, you're the man. Good luck in the Rookie of the Year ASI award coming shortly.
Oh, he's got my vote. That's for sure.
I love it. What a connection. It makes so much sense. Ladies and gentlemen, the Rooster. So every year on the show, Jared, we do this thing called the ASI Awards, where a bunch of my hardcore listeners on a committee kind of put together some fun awards to celebrate the last year right before the season starts. And your cousin, the Rooster, his intro that my video guy, the great Gator McCluskey, made was voted best intro. So you just saw it play.
That was
right there.
Awesome. Well, when you said the Rooster, I was like, wait a minute, my cousin's named the Rooster, and he's a diehard Jets fan. Is it possible that we have some alignment here? That was awesome. I mean, that's the guy right there. You want to know why I'm a Jets fan? That's the guy.
That's amazing.
That's the reason why right there. That guy.
Makes sense. It makes sense. He's become an amazing caller for our show. So
I love that he's part of your community, Jake. I mean, I don't need another reason to love you and your work, but I just got one.
That's incredible. Jared, this was great, dude. We'll get you back soon. I appreciate you getting up early for us on the West Coast to do this. I'll see you in person in a few weeks. We'll get you back on the show then. So looking forward to being at Circa. And again, plug the podcast, especially those of you who are entering the Circa contest at the end of this month, of course. Jared, where can people find all your work?
Yeah, at Jared Smith Bets, especially if you like daily wagering advice. Right now, I'm still kind of in baseball mode, so tweeting out a lot of baseball picks, but we'll get into the football stuff soon. I'll give you some futures. I'll give you some information there. And then the podcast, morning after podcast, every Tuesday at Circa, heavy on the contest this year. So if you're in Survivor, if you're in those contests, I'm giving you a ton of information. We're going to be talking to a lot of people who are in the contest strategy and, hey, what happened over the weekend and stuff like that. So very focused on what I think is one of the more growing niches within the gambling space, which is these football contests. And then Fox Sports Radio, Saturday mornings, the show is called Countdown. Obviously very college football focused during the season. We'll have tons. If you're looking at, hey, which is going to be the quarterback that the Jets might be drafting next year, we'll be talking about a ton of them Saturday mornings on Fox Sports Radio this fall.
That's awesome. Jared, you're the man. Thanks so much for coming on.
Good stuff, Jake.
Jared Smith, Fox Sports Radio, his own pod. He just plugged there. Great stuff from him. And how about that connection? Cousins with the Rooster. I got an email as the show started. That's my cousin. I go, what? Incredible. Big shout out to John J. Williams. John, I got your Zell. He's in the raffle for 2. So John is playing to win today. For those of you just tuning in, a pretty great prize. Signed Leon Washington Jets helmet. Oh, yeah. Make sure you enter for your chance to win. And you'll also be entered in the weekly raffle. This Sunday, we give away a Garrett Wilson signed helmet, Curtis Martin signed helmet, and a Nick Mangold signed helmet. Thanks again to all of you who helped this channel hit 50,000 subscribers. We hit it yesterday morning. We've had great growth since the season started. We've been posting more shorts, which have been reaching an audience. In fact, I think that listener that said they tuned in from Argentina found us through one of these shorts because we went mega viral in Argentina, of all places, with one of these shorts. You could check the geolocation on where some people viewed in. So maybe there's more Jet fans in Argentina than any of us realize. But big thank you again. We're going to keep growing and growing day in, day out. And we'll be here for you every step of the way for the upcoming Jet season. Ladies and gentlemen, I mentioned the Azzy Awards. Let's get ready to vote. So yesterday we had part 1 of the Rookie of the Year. The top 2 advanced to the final. Congrats to Lou B and The Dream. Lou B and The Dream are in this afternoon. But right now, we got to find out who will be joining them in the Azzy finale poll. Right now, it's the Rooster, Mad Max, Doc Jetfan, and Mimosa nominated for Rookie of the Year. Here is Group 2 voting for the Azzy Awards is underway.
Cast your vote for the best. It's time for the Azzy Awards. It's time for the Azzy Awards. Cast your vote for the best. It's time for the Azzy Awards.
Vote, vote, vote. Your vote determines who wins the Azzy. Rooster, Mad Max, Doc, and Mimosa, top 2, again, advance to the finale this afternoon. Thank you to the Human Fund. Thank you to Boomtown, Gator, and everyone who worked on putting these fun Azzy Awards together for us. Brian Morales says, Jake, I'm your long-lost cousin. Jets for life. You can be my cousin, Chef Brian. Let me know when your apron arrives, by the way. You got to call in rocking that thing. Ozzy gifted another membership. Thank you. Ozzy is in the raffle for 1. All right, if we want this show to keep rolling, we need some calls on the Gusbuster Umbrella Hotline. Jets right now in action in a joint practice. The latest reports on the offense, not great. First team period, Geno Smith, he struggled. He really struggled. He threw a couple of interceptions. Now, there is some positive news, though. David Bailey won a clean rep against Luke Godecki, the Bucs left tackle. Bailey, apparently, that first step, lethal in that one. And then when they went at it again, it led to some pushing and shoving being thrown by both sides. So, David Bailey and Luke Godecki swung at each other and started a fight. Godecki kept jumping early on reps versus Bailey. They talked some smack after. Bailey smacked his helmet. Godecki didn't like that. I like seeing that fight from Bailey. This is the time of year you get some of those fights, right? You're facing a new team for the first time. This is what happens. So we'll keep you posted. Obviously, joint practices tell some of the story, but I will never forget this for as long as I cover the Jets and cover NFL football. I was at a joint practice 2 years ago. It was Jets versus the Commanders. I was there. I was actually with Richie from Jets Media. He was the one who gave me the VIP hookup. So we went together to this joint practice. It was raining a little bit. So Aaron Rodgers wasn't even practicing. Sawa held him out because he didn't want him to practice on a wet field. Okay, fine. So Tyrod Taylor comes in. And when I tell you, him and Garrett Wilson had the greatest practice ever, trust me when I say this. It was insane. It was every other play, Garrett beating someone for a huge gain or scoring a touchdown. The Jets, they dominated this joint practice. Like, it was domination. I kid you not. Jaden Daniels was a rookie, and I remember leaving that joint practice going, I don't know about him. He looked rough today. Man, he's got a long way to go. Jaden Daniels goes on to have the greatest rookie season we've ever seen from a quarterback. His team was in the NFC Championship game. The Jets go on to start 2-3, fire their head coach, and finished with 5 wins. And on that day, if you would have told me the Jets were going to be the 5-win team and not the team that went to the championship game, I would have thought you were on copious amounts of crack. So don't always put too much into a joint practice in August is the lesson that I think I will learn forever. It matters. It's important. It provides context. You want to see how certain guys look against a different opponent, but it's not the end-all be-all. So Geno throwing picks today, don't go crazy about it because I'd rather him throw it in practice and learn from it than do it in games. But I'll never forget how good the Jets looked that day, how good Garrett Wilson looked. I remember talking to Garrett afterwards about it because he came over to where we were, and I had a quick chat with him. Like, it was insane. Him and Tyrod could not be stopped. They were destroying the Commanders. The Jet defense, when they did the drive the field period at the end, they got a 3-and-out or 4-and-out, actually, because it was the scenario where end of the game, Jets trying to hold on to a 3-point lead, Commanders trying to drive to get into field goal range at the end, and the Jet defense in 4 plays, 4-and-out, including Sauce Gardner at the end, had like a deflection on the 4th down play. Like, it was ridiculous. And the Jets ended up being total ass, and the Commanders went all the way to the NFC title game. So you never know sometimes. But I'll never forget that because that put it really in context. Nightbot writes in, enter today's raffle by gifting a membership or sending in a $10 super chat. Winner will be selected on the Wheel of Champions on today's shows. Look, you can say whatever you want about the Nightbot, but he's absolutely right. We are raffling away a great item today. It's a Leon Washington signed helmet for those of you just tuning in. Leon with a strong take says Rooster and Doc are the 2 best callers on the show for straight Jets talk and interesting viewpoints. 2 outstanding callers, there's no doubt. Also, I had to bookmark this from Rebecca, whose username is Piano Girl Practices Songs. Someone was talking about Jericho Cotchery, and she wrote Jericho Cotchery. He did nothing when he was here. How dare you, Rebecca? You're definitely misremembering Jericho Cotchery as a Jet. He was not a good Jet. He was an outstanding Jet. He played for the Jets from 2004 to 2010. Him leaving the team was the start of the downfall that was the Rex Ryan era. They never recovered from losing him and replacing him with Derek Mason. They never recovered also from replacing Braylon Edwards with Plaxico douchebag Burris. But Jericho Cotchery was not good. He was awesome. He was a 4th-round pick that had multiple 1,000-yard seasons with the Jets. He had 1,100 yards in 2007. In 2009, he was their number 1 receiver. In 2010, he got hurt in that game against the Browns, so he only played in 14 games. His numbers, he finished with 433 yards receiving. But that's because Sanchez wasn't a great thrower, and he got hurt in that game against Cleveland where he made one of the most unbelievable catches on 3rd down after he hurt his groin and on one leg made an insane catch to help move the chains. And the Jets came back and won that game. He was a great Jet. Cotchery had a huge playoff game against the Patriots in 2006. He had a huge playoff game in the divisional win the last time the Jets won a playoff game in 2010. His score before the end of half, it wasn't a score, but it was a huge completion that set up eventually the quick slant to Braylon Edwards, where he carried 2 pats on his back into the end zone. That was set up by the long catch by Jericho Cotchery. He wasn't a good Jet. He was a great Jet. Jericho Cotchery was amazing, man. I love Jericho. The Jets haven't hit on a day 3 wide receiver since, let alone day 2. Jericho Cotchery was a 4th-round pick. He was amazing. And as people in the chat wrote, I see Leon nailed it, great blocker. Absolutely. Cotchery's numbers with the Jets would have been even better if Sanchez was better early on. Letting him go to Pittsburgh, he ended up playing from 2011 to 2015 after he left the Jets in 2010. He played 12 years in the NFL, he played 3 with the Steelers, and it really sucked to see him go there. And then he was on that Panthers team in 2015 that went to the Super Bowl. So I was thrilled that he at least got to play in a Super Bowl. Now, Cotchery was a great Jet. Trav says, should I call in? I'm afraid no one wants my stale old face. You should call in. The people that complain about Beast on the show, where's your calls? I don't see you people on the line. Where you at? Funny comment from Elwert. He's no Isaiah Williams. Yeah, Frankie just dumping on Isaiah Williams yesterday was hilarious. He's a perfectly capable number 4 wide receiver. Comments, questions, super chats. They cut the line. All right. Let's get to your calls. Ladies and gentlemen, this first caller better put his ring light on. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time.
Stringing the cheese. August 28th, Jets Giants 6:30 bell time. Get your tickets right now at your local box office. August 21st, Pittsburgh, we're coming to your house. Get your tickets right now, 6:30 local bell time. And Friday night, August 14th, Bucks versus Jets live from MetLife Stadium. Get your tickets right now. If you don't, you're gonna miss out. All this and more, and Jets football coming your way.
Now, Beast, why do you count backwards with the game dates? Like, we should be focused on this Friday night. Who cares about the games weeks from now?
I remember how the WWE Event Center would do it. It's called pumping it up, getting prepared at every cost. See, I used to do pay-per-view television. It's real easy. All you have to do is do everything. Get the house shows prepared, and then get the pay-per-view ready to go. Everything is on fly. How do you think I learned from the best? You learn. That's how wrestling used to be. And now we're bringing it right here to the table.
Spencer Green says you don't even watch the games.
He steals he steals credit cards from his mama. How you like that?
Now, Beast, you have a Jet football. Can you put some lights on and show us how it's done in terms of what will it take for the Jet offense to score some points this year? We're going to need more lighting in the attic. Or not.
Set. Get ready. Drive. 42-33. Get going. There's one way of doing it. Get ready. That took a hitter. That's a hit first. That right there, what you saw there in the second one, that's a suicide dive. Something that nobody knows nothing about. That's called Learn from who? Dynamite Kid, British Bulldogs tag team partner. You don't see the fly. We're flying.
Hey,
What's
L
this tell
Word
ya?
says you can't name 4 Jet
Fly,
players.
baby. There's hundreds of them I've already named off. Hundreds.
Name
He's a
4
retard.
Jet players on the Jets currently.
Whoa.
Prove them wrong.
Oh. Let's see. We got return Nick Geno Smith. We got Clay. We got Mr. South Carolina Clay Club. Mr. Club Nick. Oh, who could I think of? Who could I ask for? I was obsessed with Sadiq. Certified freak, 7 days a week, got a herniated freak. I was so obsessed with Sadiq. Certified freak, gotta watch him take a leak inside the physique. I'm obsessed with Sadiq. Certified freak, I might not be a freak, but at least I'm a geek. Oh, and who else? Will McDonald, the only man that blocked the kick last year, went. And I gotta go. I got a plumber here. I'll talk to you then. Let's see you then.
Can we talk to the plumber?
Plumber's here. Good.
I would love to talk to Beast Plumber. The things that man is about to see. God help whoever that plumber is. If it's anything like Beast Bathtub that Lou B was able to fix, God help us. Good luck to Beast Plumber. Thoughts and prayers. Wow. One of the toughest jobs. Comments, questions, super chats, cut the line. Let's get to more of your calls. Ladies and gentlemen, this man is currently nominated for Rookie of the Year. The top 2 will advance to the final this afternoon. Right now, he's one of the 2. We heard from the Rooster. Now, we hear from another Rookie of the Year finalist. It's time.
If Mad Max ain't yapping about Jets, that boy, he's jamming, he's slamming, freaking dancing, wall smashing. I'm Jake Asman. If Mad Max ain't ever stopped yapping, that boy, he still be dancing. Then call Jake Asman. He got an orange wall.
What's up, Asmaniacs? Can you guys hear me?
Oh, we hear you, Mad Max.
Oh, man, let's talk about the moves. So I saw Rich Samini yesterday. He's like, oh, my God, we should not get Baker Mayfield next year. Honestly, what is Samini on? Because, like, that guy is just like doom and gloom. Do you want the quarterbacks to suck next year? We're going to have, like, purgatory? Seriously, Baker Mayfield is a good quarterback for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He's probably the best Jets quarterback. If we get Baker Mayfield, he'd probably be the Jets quarterback we've had in, like, 45 years. Seriously. Because look at his Tampa Bay numbers. He had 41 touchdowns and 16 interceptions. Like, why do you guys not want? Oh, because he's $50 million. Like, seriously, Baker.
What if
Mayfield,
they could draft a quarterback?
I mean, but you know, it's hypothetical. If the Jets are good and the quarterback class is it made out because you know what? Everyone's talking about 2026. Oh, it's such a good quarterback class, and then we only have one good quarterback. Let's see
how it plays out. We don't know how it looks next year.
Yeah, that's why. But people is like, oh, we shouldn't get Mayfield. I mean, if the
I'd be open to Baker, but I prefer to draft my quarterback if I'm in position to get one of the top guys.
I agree with you on that, but if we're not in position, I would get Baker Mayfield. Seriously, $50 million. What was the point? Oh, he doesn't win the playoffs. The Jets haven't made the playoffs in 15 years, Jake. We need to make the playoffs. We need to be competitive. Stop with this tanking nonsense.
Hey, Yo Holmes says, can you speak faster?
I can always speak faster. And then, Yo Holmes, my next point, we have the Tampa Bay game. Let's hope the Stars play, but it is the rematch. We're gonna revenge.
Now, Mad Max, I sent you 4 tickets to go to this game on Friday. Who are the 4 people that are going to be part of this group?
Brandon Rooney, Ann Sedicati, and Gary. They're gonna thank you soon. So we got 4 amazing tickets. So some of my home boys are going. So we got.
Now, who are these people?
My friends from home. You're gonna meet them on Friday, Jake.
I'm not going. I don't know if I'm going.
I mean, are you going to the game?
I haven't decided.
You should go. I think you should go.
I don't know. I don't know if MetLife is big enough for the 2 of us.
It's big enough. Come on.
I don't know.
But you know, it is a revenge. You know, Tampa beat us in week 3. It was the game you were at. We're gonna kick them to the Sean Azul. You know, we gotta get the starters in for at least a series, and then so Gino needs to start off because you know Gino was terrible today. We need Gino to get used to our new offense for like maybe a drive or 2. Then we need Klubnik as the backup. Klubnik needs his $400, and then. Once the game is over, we're gonna be avenging our loss, and then we're gonna remove that embarrassing moment with Aaron Glenn doing the salsa dance.
Hey, football guy says he's your long lost cousin.
No, he's not. And then the Finns guy says like he thinks that the Dolphins are gonna be good. Come on, he's not good. And then Beast Burgers. I mean, if he gets so annoyed on the show by Napa and by other callers, just get off the show. You know what I mean? You just focus on yourself.
Big Fella says the Dark Alliance will take down Mad Max and the Nightbot Army.
Oh, I'm not in charge of Nightbot. I'm just getting Beast back to reality. That's just me.
What are your thoughts on Beast Plumber? What do you think he's walking into?
I don't know. I don't know the situation, Beast Plumber, and I wouldn't even care. He's probably fixing something in his attic.
You think so?
I think so. And then I think, you know, who's rookie of the year? Because I think I should win rookie of the year. Because, you know, I was probably the best caller. You know, I called in last year, and I probably provided the most entertainment out of all the Asmaniacs. You know, even Amanda.
You think you provide the most?
I think I provide the most entertainment.
More than Beast?
I think I provide more entertainment than Beast.
More than Gorman?
I think I'm more entertaining than Gorman. I'm more entertaining than Beast. I'm more entertaining than Gary because Gary has some of the worst shot takes I've ever seen. Is Gary on the line?
He's not.
Tell him, Gary, that the Emberconda thing. I mean, he's not a good player. You know, he's good on the practice squad. And then Aaron Smith. I mean, I think he's more of like a backup guy, but he's not good. He's not going to be a productive wide receiver. Granted, do I want him to succeed? Yeah, but he had Justin Fields. That guy couldn't even complete a pass.
Dana says, at least you aren't a grifter anymore, Max.
Dana, just vote for me in the Rookie of the Year. I should win it.
It looks like you're going to advance, Mad Max, but Rooster's beating you soundly at 46%. You're in second place.
I mean, who else is Rookie of the Year in Rookie of the Year today? Who's else?
Doc Jet Fan and Mimosa.
Mimosa, I never see her calling this show, so I don't know why she was rookie of the year. I never see her call in, so she shouldn't even be in rookie of the year.
B says, "Listen, haters, get off my back."
I mean, come on, Beast. Just chill out. You gotta have a little fun every once in a while. You gotta have a little fun. And then Matt Terrazzi, all Max is good as is asking Rumble Beast. Come on, I'm better at most things. I have the best Jets takes, Matty. You're just jealous that you just don't like my takes. That's just how it is. But I don't have good takes. The Malachi Corley pick. I've good. Let me give you an example of my good takes. Everyone's saying, "Oh, Malachi Corley's a good pick."
Oi! Discussion closed. Welcome.
Oh man!
No, welcome to the power plant.
We've been up to Beast. We've been up to. You excited for the preseason game Friday?
You heard the dates like the control center said it. Didn't you listen to the control center?
I listened to the control center. What's going on?
Good. I hope you got the message loud and clear. You got it loud and clear. Good.
So what are your thoughts on the preseason game on Friday? What do you think, Beast? Do you think it's going to be the revenge game?
Like they say in the Army, you've had your time. You've had your time. Now you're dismissed. Dismissed.
You'll be
Carry out.
Beast, who'd you vote for Rookie of the Year? Who'd you vote for?
Should I sound like Sergeant Gunnery Highway and just go, all right, drop your cocks and grab your socks.
Because he should have voted.
All right, up, everybody up off your ass and get up. This is the Briefs Society to 5 minutes.
Did you vote for Lou B? Did you vote for your queen? Did you vote for your Queen Amanda Madison, or did you vote for Lou B?
So what if I can't tell time? So what? Maybe some communist bastards will pop you a new asshole right in the forehead. Let's go. Get up your Marines now. Now remember, 4 minutes. Fall out. You already know the drill. You already know. Now I'm gonna say it one more time. You ladies, get your ass on the street now.
And
get to it.
And the ladies should know that Bees has never won 35 world belts.
Hey, Bees,
stop.
What's the deal?
Stop.
What's the deal with this plumber?
Stop right there. Jake, wait 1 second.
What's the deal with the plumber?
I had a talk with somebody yesterday about this. A warning.
I just thought of something, Gator. If Max keeps bringing up the 35 belts that are fake, there's going to come a punishment. He has to learn. You want to play games, you're going to get hammered. Saying the game no more. The games, the Lion, enough is enough. One more crack about my world title being fake. If he insults my daughter too, there will come consequences. Yes, consequences will be dealt. He has to learn. This is not a game anymore. This is not a joke.
Can you hear me? I mean, how am I insulting your daughter?
No. I'm going to stop you right here. Enough's enough. You've gone too far. You've drawn over the lines, and you've broke boundaries. I'm warning you. Enough's enough.
Okay.
There's come consequences, and you're going to have to face those consequences. Enough.
Okay, Beast,
Enough. Dismissed. You're dismissed.
Attention, Beast. I have reached out to your queen and offered her my hand in marriage. She will be my queen, you tub of shit!
You know what you can do? Why don't you go put wet baloney on men's ass and sing YMCA when you're in the shower going, YMCA, that's why I throw wet baloney at YMCA. Nightbot likes to run away in underwear. He likes to run in the wet. That's why he throws wet baloney at men's asses with YMCA. That's
Everybody hungry? We got some really great food here today. We got broccoli pasta fazool, homemade chili, and this is what the Jets do today. The Jets today definitely win.
Man, what a show. Lou B says Gino threw 3 picks already. Oh, we know, Lou. Oh, we know. Full breakdown on what actually happened with Sabo at 4:30. update from practice. Geno Smith is 8 of 13 with 2 interceptions. And he's taken 2 sacks. No completions beyond 7 or 8 yards. So, not great. The Todd Bowles blitzes getting home, so the Jets have a lot to work on. But you rather this happen in practice, this is what they need to get ready for the season. I also have been informed that Lou B is once again behind the plumber showing up at the Beast home. Beast toilet bowl exploded. Lou B sent the plumber he has on speed dial to the Beast residence. So again, Lou B stepping up to help Beast, even though Beast did not vote for him for Rookie of the Year yesterday. Lou B, a one-of-one human being, folks. One of one.
You saw my hat? Yeah. And if you need anyone to drive you, I got you, Gino. I got you. Gino, you look great today. I got you.
Unbelievable. Potentially our final call. Again, let's get some entries in the raffle. I'm going to get the membership right now. We only have 12 this show. It's a great prize today. It's a Leon Washington signed helmet. If you prefer a Jets jersey, if you want David Bailey, Sadiq Cooper, Garrett Wilson, or a Jet legend, if you win the Leon helmet, we'll give you that option as well. But Leon Washington signed helmet is the prize. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to gift the membership in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. A gifted membership from yours truly has been fired off. The winner who got it is Daniel Murphy, 9-1. Our guy Daniel Murphy hasn't called the show in a while. Murph, call in. Unless you're busy, enjoying retirement post-Mets career. All right, ladies and gentlemen, back to the calls we go. Adam is next.
Adam is cool, although kind of basic. He claims he's too cool, though often quite basic. He makes great jet points, looks a little basic. Adam is cool, too cool, but basic. Some would say generic.
Hey, Jake, how's it going?
What's up, Adam? How are you?
Can we give it up for the rookies? I mean, we had to have 8 rookies this year because we have so many awesome new faces to the Asmaniac community. And these votes, these are tough votes. I mean, everyone really earned it. So congratulations to I guess, Lou B. And who's in second now? Mad Max?
Lou B and Mad Max are leading the way so far.
Okay. I mean, it tough votes. Very tough votes going out there. And props to everyone else that was nominated. No Doc Jet fan. He was like the rookie Kyle Clifton this year. And but the people have spoken, and it's going to be one heck of a bloodbath this afternoon. That's for sure.
Oh my goodness. It is going to be quite the contest.
Yeah. I was just thinking it's so impossible to predict season records and all that stuff because there's been so many new coaches, right? Isn't this one of the biggest amount of coaching changes in a season from season to season ever? And we're also facing a lot of rookies.
You had a record. You had 10 new coaches.
I mean, it's funny because you think about Baltimore's always good. Baltimore's got a new coach. Oh, Pittsburgh's, Pittsburgh had Tomlin. Is it going to be the same with McCarthy? There's all these interesting little things that are going to be all over the place. Hard to predict. I really hope that that Aaron Glenn can turn it around this year, that we have something to be proud of. I've been hearing a lot of 8 and 9, 7 and 10. Let's
Oh my God.
8 and 9? Who's predicting 8 and 9?
I think Badlands had a few thoughts on 8 and 9, for example. That'd be pretty interesting if that's true. Wilpa's very optimistic, as you know. So at any rate, you know what? I think the best outcome for this team would be if the O-line really is the strength of the team, then let's not aim low with Baker. Let's aim for Burrow at that point if we're actually not going to draft someone. Go for Burrow, right? Keeping him upright and protecting him is the problem that he seems to always have with the Bengals. So aim higher than Baker. I mean, I love Baker. I wish we had him when we could draft him. I wish we could have had him when he was just putzing around for the Rams. I thought that was a lost opportunity. I don't know why anyone didn't want to give him a chance at One Jets Drive, but I don't think the time is now to do that either. So let's see what we got with Geno. Let's see if he could be a bridge. Let's see if this O-line really is cracked up to be, and let's not overreact to the first real practice of the season against a team that they don't share a locker room with.
Let's get a W, Adam.
Let's do it.
Sweet victory.
All right, take care.
Adam, go out there and make it a great day.
Oh my God.
Last chance to vote in the Azzy Awards. The Rooster, who had a phenomenal call earlier, joining his cousin on the show. Rewind if you missed that one. Jared Smith was an excellent first-time guest. I've known Jared a long time. Great to get him on the YouTube show. Rooster gifted a membership. He's in the raffle for one. The number one Austrian Jet fan in the house. He gifted an Asmaniac membership. He's in the raffle for one. Appreciate you, Austrian Jet fan. Jay Lepselter says, does Beast know Tavondre Sweat? Beast, your thoughts on Tavondre Sweat?
He sounds like a nice guy, but how much does he weigh? 370 pounds?
Perhaps. It's unclear.
Well, if he's the size of Bam Bam Bigelow, then okay. But he's got to cut down just a slight tad. Not too much, but at least 340. That'd be fine. But 363, that's Bam Bam Bigelow size, because I remember Bam Bam Bigelow very well. He was a big dude, but he could do things that blow people's minds. Take other examples. You got Big Van Vader, a former world's heavyweight champion, and what did he used to do at 450? He moonsaulted people right off the top rope in Japan, and how do you think he did that? Heart. See, he also has a Los Angeles Rams ring when he won the Super Bowl in '79. See, how do you think Big Van Vader got to the top? He worked his way up to the top. You have to climb the ladder. See, you start at the bottom, you work your way up. That's called thrill of success. Wrong. It's called work your way up. It's like when you start 600, then you go 7, then you go 8, then once you get to 9 or maybe $1,100, then you're good. Then you know. Hey,
Beast, what's your advice for Tavondre Sweat to lose some weight when he's back?
Well, he's going to have to take the Lou B diet trim, which is no cheese. And yes, Lou B has told me this 10,000 times. No cheese, because why? It clogs up the arteries. Look it up in your health book. It's called too much cheese. It'll cause a chain reaction, and also it'll clog up arteries.
When was the last time you had cheese?
It's been a while. I'm cutting down. That's why I went and got salad yesterday. How many salads did I get? 2 for $4 a piece.
It's been so what do you consider a long time?
Like a couple weeks now, because I'm cutting down because everything's gotten too high. Everything's getting expensive. Always remember, budget is number one. Learn to budget. Budget.
But if you haven't had cheese, how do you explain the stringing of the cheese?
First, before we do that, no, Max, as they all say, as Mr. Miyagi once said, discussion closed. Tom, now we learn kata.
Mad Max privately messaged us just now. Let me get on with Beast. He has no jet points.
No more. Now, take my advice. No cheese. Stick to water. Stick to
salads.
What
about stringing of the cheese?
Oh, that's just, if the song is fine, then it's fine. String in the cheese, please. String in the cheese.
Holy shit, Asmaniacs! You know what time it is? Time to get to that beast attic and string some cheese. Oh, yeah! Come on! The Jets win the offseason! That's got me stringing the cheese. The Knicks come back, breaks records. That's got me stringing the cheese. The Yankees crush the Red Sox. That's got me stringing the cheese. When Cisco send gift memberships. That's got me stringing the cheese. Oh, stringing the cheese make me
man.
My stringing the cheese might look messy, but clean
Stringing the cheese
is a pleasure after a damn good string in the cheese. Oh, yeah! Oh. The Jets could make the playoffs. That's got me stringing the cheese.
Oh my God.
Be finals champions. That's got me stringing the cheese.
Oh my God.
Ace in 28. That's got me stringing the cheese. When Memo
Oh my God.
Enough!
Oh my God.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm stringing the cheese.
Stringing the cheese.
I think, that should be a Van Halen song, but, Sweet Child of Mine's very good.
Don't think I'm not stupid, son.
Great quote from Beast. Beast just said, quote, "Don't think I'm not stupid."
Damn right. And this, my folks, get your brand new Ultimate t-shirt.
What a show. That's how we string the cheese. Big Country says, "Beast, you do know most of us don't watch wrestling." How dare you, Big Country? We all know every reference Beast makes pre-2000. Ladies and gentlemen, what a program. How about our Rookie of the Year vote? Who's going to meet Lou B and the Dream in the finals this afternoon? Our final Azzie Award. Ladies and gentlemen, advancing to the finale of the Azzies for Rookie of the Year. Our top two are the Rooster and Mad Max. Rooster wins with 44% of the vote. Mad Max 26%. Doc Jet Fan at 20%. Mimosa at 10%. Congrats to our nominees. We now know the matchup for this afternoon. The four people in contention for Rookie of the Year: Lou B, the Dream, the Rooster, and Mad Max. Our final Azzie is up for grabs at 4:30 on the show. All 8 of our nominees incredibly deserving, so this will be a great finale. All right, last super chat here. This is from T-Town, who's been a channel member for 22 months. Thank you, T-Town. Says, "Hey, Jake, what do you think about Reich acknowledging that if you don't keep up with today's game, the league will pass you by?" Look, he's saying the right things. We need to now see it in game scenarios, right? Do we see creative ways to get Sadiq involved? Do we see creative ways to set up the Jets' passing attack? Do they have a good run game that's doing things creatively to open things up? Frank Reich's done it before. He's saying the right things, but we've all heard these things said by Jet coaches of the past. We got to see it to believe it, is I think where a lot of us are at with this team. We will cover the joint practice going on right now in full this afternoon, so stick around for that. Thank you again for helping us get to 50,000 subscribers on the channel. We're experiencing big-time growth now that the season's here. We're posting daily segment videos. Those have been huge. A lot of you discovered the show that way. We know the YouTube algorithm made changes to reward videos for new subscribers, and existing subscribers get the live shows. So if you're new, welcome. We're live every day, 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. Typically, it's either at 10 or 10:30 or 4 or 4:30. Multiple shows a day, post-game show after every Jet game. So this Friday night, we're live after the Bucs game. You guys are the best. Thanks for watching. We're going to be back this afternoon, 4:30 start time. Be there or be square. Go Jets, everybody.
I just thought of something, Gator. If Max keeps bringing up the 35 belts that are fake, there's going to come a punishment. He has to learn, you want to play games, you're going to get hammered. I'm saying the game no more. The games, the Lion, enough is enough. One more crack about my world title being fake. If he insults my daughter too, there will come consequences. Yes, consequences will be dealt. He has to learn. This is not a game anymore. This is not a joke.
Can you hear me? Come on. Oh my God.
Hey, Asmaniacs, make sure to hit the like button and keep on supporting the Jake Asman Show.
That's right, Beast. If you don't subscribe to Jake Asman Show, the Jets will never win another game. Go Jets!